What's up, guys? Ryan also knows Florida Gator News here. I'm coming at you with my Alabama pregame and the predictions a couple days earlier, but I realized my grandparents are coming Thursday and Wednesday. I don't know why. This is just, I guess I can remember. I get to go to the game. I got tickets. Um, we usually go to one away game, and I guess this is gonna be one. Um, So I get to go all the way to Tuscaloosa after school on Friday, and yeah, upper deck end zone. Be pretty excited. So let's go ahead and get started. Obviously, Alabama coming off a come from behind a strong win against Arkansas. Florida coming off against a very good showing against Kentucky. Very good offensive showing. And, um, this could go either way. It just depends on what team shows up for Florida. The team that showed up against Kentucky or the team that showed up against Miami of Ohio. Um, for Alabama, it could be the team that showed up against Arkansas or the team that showed up last year in the SEC championship game. Obviously, Florida is seeking for revenge after last year's SEC championship game, losing, hoping for Florida's first undefeated season. Obviously, they did get the regular season undefeated, but they didn't get the wins they needed to go after that. Florida has all the momentum on their side, being an underdog, obviously seeking revenge, going on the road, primetime television. I know on the road part doesn't really make any sense, but if you think about it, since they had all that momentum and a very good win, they still have all the momentum swinging from the Kentucky game on their side. They're looking for an upset, a shocker in Tuscaloosa. I think coming out of the tunnel, you'll see Florida will probably be a lot more fired up. If not, then they're going to keep their cool and show what they got in the first quarter. To me, it's going to come down to who's got a better performance in the first half. Now, usually, I usually say fourth quarter because Alabama's a fourth quarter team. I think whoever sets the tone in the game is the one who's going to finish the tone of the game. Alabama, they're a little beaten up, a little shaken up after Arkansas. McElroy's a little beat up after getting hit a couple times. Obviously, Ingram and Richardson are Florida's top priorities. Those two combined for 200 yards last weekend against a pretty decent Arkansas defense. I want to say they're the best, but I won't say they're the worst. So Florida's probably going to come up with a game plan, and I think Florida's team is in their hot streak right now. I think they just started their hot streak. Obviously, last week against Kentucky, off that very strong showing. And Urban Meyer said he's seen their best practice ever last Wednesday, and if they could bring that practice over to this week and to Alabama, obviously our chances will increase of winning. So that is that as well. Obviously, John Brantley coming off.
It's 3 o'clock.
John Brantley coming off his first 200-yard game. He's still got a hot hand. And then, Alabama had to come up with a game plan for Trey Burton. Because now Florida not only has John Brantley as an offensive weapon in the young secondary that they have, they got to worry about Jeff Demps in the backfield. And then they got to worry about Trey Burton at wide receiver or at quarterback. So they're going to have a couple things to work on in practice, and they're going to slip up a couple times. And, Florida's not really a big play team. But they're going to be looking for one in the first drive. And if they do get that big play in the first drive, Florida's going to set the tone of the game. And once they set the tone of the game, I think they can hold on to the lead the whole game. Now, how do I think defense is going to do? Well, obviously, the defense has got to worry about um, Trent Richardson and Mark Ingram. Um, I think they'll do very well, as they usually always do. I see maybe 80, 90 yards out of Ingram, 50 to 60 out of Richardson, touchdowns for either one of them. Because basically, they're almost unstoppable. I mean, even though I don't like the team they play for, Trent Richardson was here from Florida, Pensacola, and decided to go to Alabama. Mark Ingram's just a powerhouse to bring down. So Florida really needs to work on their tackling, and that's what they really did well last weekend, was tackling and tackling the big players such as Cobb and Derek Locke. Obviously, Derek Locke, the leading rusher in the SEC. Cobb, a very big-time playmaker. And those were little testers for Florida, see how they could take those guys down, and also how they can handle the run of Derek Locke. And that's a little tester for for them against Mark Ingram. And I think they did very well with that. And if they can keep that same game plan to Alabama, obviously I think they're going to contain the running offense, the running power of Alabama for the most part. And then if that doesn't work, I mean, nah, that's not really what I meant to say there. If that works and they contain Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson, they're going to have to force McElroy to throw the ball. And he threw 2 interceptions last weekend, so he's kind of cold right now. And obviously throwing one in the end zone. And I think that's going to carry over for the most part to the game this weekend. And if Florida's secondary can get into the heads of Alabama and Greg McElroy, they're going to force incompletions, for third and fourth downs, and they're going to force them to punt or make bad decisions. And if that can happen, Florida's chances are again increased. And then also, Florida's got to work on special teams. Julio Jones, a pretty decent returner. Obviously, the punting situation last weekend against Kentucky could have been better. Cobb had some good returns. I mean, not that it was Chaz Henry's fault for making them short punts. I mean, he fucking skyrocketed those balls. I mean, those were 60, 50-yard punts. And as long as Florida can contain the coverage there, that should be good as well, because it also, depends on where they start the ball on their drive. So how do I think the predictions are going to be like? I think Florida is going to receive the ball first. I honestly think, the first 5 plays, Brantley is going to go deep. It's going to be caught. And it's going to be first and goal, and it'll just be a touchdown from there. That's what I'm hoping, and that's what I'm predicting as well. What else is there? Obviously, to me, I think it's going to be a similar game to the Alabama-Arkansas game. It's going to be 20-20, possibly 30-20 something, possibly 20-17 something. I see Florida winning this game 28-21. Alabama. I see Florida. I see the halftime score being tied 7-7, or maybe a 14-7 lead. But if that happens, I actually see Florida scoring 14 in each half. And as long as that can happen, score a touchdown a quarter, which is not that bad against a great Alabama front seven. It's gonna have to force the Alabama offense to keep scoring, and when or trying to get a team from behind to score more to get your team back in the game, it's gonna force turnovers and all that other stuff. I actually see Florida winning 28-21, them getting a defensive stop in the fourth quarter, and hopefully I'm right on that. Alright guys, this is Ryan. I'm running low on time here. I am out. Leave comments below thinking how good or how bad do you think Florida will do against Alabama this weekend. And look for me on TV, guys. Upper deck, end zone, wearing a blue shirt. I'm out. Peace.